What are the typical pawn structures that arise from the Giuoco Piano? Have you ever wondered how pawn structures shape the game of chess, especially in the Giuoco Piano? This opening, starting with the moves 1, e4, e5, 2, knight f3, knight c6, and 3, bishop c4, is rich in strategic possibilities. Let's break down the typical pawn structures that emerge from this fascinating opening. The Giuoco Piano emphasizes controlling the center of the board. White usually plays pawn to d4 to challenge black's influence. The response from black can lead to different pawn structures. If black plays pawn to d6, white can push d4, creating an open center. This structure allows for rapid piece development and dynamic play. On the other hand, if black opts for pawn to d5, the center becomes closed. This leads to a more strategic game, where players focus on pawn breaks and careful maneuvering. The key squares in these structures are the pawns on d4 and e4 for white, and e5 and d6 for black. These pawns play a significant role in determining how the game unfolds. Now let's look at specific structures. When white plays d4 and black responds with x4, we see an open center. This structure opens lines for pieces and allows for swift development. It can lead to exciting tactical opportunities for both sides. In contrast, if black plays d5, we enter a closed center. This setup often results in a slower game where players must plan their pawn breaks carefully. Timing becomes essential, as moves like pawn to c4 or pawn to f for white can be decisive in opening lines for an attack. Sometimes, black may choose to play d6 without d5, leading to an asymmetrical structure. This can create imbalances that white can exploit through smart piece placement. Controlling the center with pawns is vital in the Giuoco Piano. White aims to keep pawns on d4 and e4 to maintain influence over the board. The pawn structure directly affects how pieces develop. An open center allows for quicker piece activity, while a closed center requires more strategic planning. Understanding these typical pawn structures is essential for mastering the Giuoco Piano. By controlling the center and managing pawn breaks effectively, players can create strong positions, whether they are on the attack or defending.